another piece of advice,
Yeah.
come to this restaurant. It's amazing. The best Indian food we've had outside of India. Really.
Okay, thank you. Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Namaskar and Sabadi. Welcome back to a new podcast. I am Prakash and you are watching La Odisha blog. Today we have a special guest from USA who will be sharing their amazing travel experiences with us. So let's get started. Could you please introduce yourself to our viewer?
Sure. So my name is Jeremy,
And I'm Panina.
and we cycled here from Portugal over the last 15 months, and we're from the USA, from Boston.
And how did you travel to Vinsai?
We got here by bicycle. So we started riding in May of 2024 in Portugal, and then we crossed southern Europe through the Balkans and Turkey. Then we spent some time in Georgia and India and Nepal for the winter before continuing across Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and China. And then we crossed into Nepal, and just a few days
Crossed into
ago,
Vietnam.
we crossed into Vietnam, thank you. And then just a few days ago, we made it here to Vientiane.
How did you discover Vinsai and this place?
Actually, it was just on our route. We didn't know anything about Vieng Sai, and then we started reading about it, about the caves that were very significant during the war, and we just actually heard about the restaurant from looking at the map, and we were really craving Indian food because we both think I think we can speak for both of us that Indian cuisine is our favorite in the whole world. So we were very excited to come to an Indian restaurant.
What was your first impression of Laos?
We thought it was a really beautiful country. The mountains and the cairns and the limestone sticking up were really beautiful, and there's all these little rivers running through it, and the people are very friendly. Like, we start going through the villages, and all of the children gather to say hello to us.
Yeah, it was also very, very difficult riding for us because we're on bicycles.
Yes.
So I felt like as soon as we crossed the border, like Panina said, it was so beautiful, so nice, all the rice fields and rivers and everything. But the roads were not in the best condition, and the cycling was pretty hard. But we've actually only been here for a couple days, so we'll have more, information as we cycle through it more.
What has been the most memorable moment of your journey so far?
Wow. What do you think?
I was going to say, what do you think? Maybe the sunset in the Dolomites?
Oh,
That
yeah.
was way up there.
Yeah.
Here, I can tell
You tell
that,
the
and then
story.
you can think of a different
Okay.
memorable thing to also share. So we were in the Dolomites in Italy, and it was pouring rain, thunderstorm. It hit really suddenly. We had taken a break in a cafe, and we were right about to leave, and we saw the wind coming in and the lightning starting to crash. So we wait there for like an hour and a half, and we realize that we have to leave then, or it's going to get dark before we can find a place to camp for the night. So we were cycling through the rain, and we were really miserable. And then we hear back from a host we'd messaged earlier that we could actually stay with him, but he was over 30 kilometers away. So we were really in a bad mood leaving because we were soaked and it was cold. And at that point, we knew we would have to cycle after dark. But as we were cycling, we were on this path, and it was just a slight downhill the whole time. And the rain like slowed and then stopped, and we saw the clouds start to like clear up the giant, beautiful mountains with these tiny little like beautiful quintessential Dolomite homes in it. And then suddenly, from like behind the mountain, we could tell the clouds parted and the sun came out, and there was just enough moisture in the atmosphere that everything was glowing gold and pink, and it was like lighting one of the mountains in front of us on, like, it looked like it was on fire. It was so red. And it was just this amazing atmosphere. We literally thought we had maybe died and gone to heaven. It was unearthly. And we wouldn't have seen it if, you know, things hadn't gone wrong that day, if it hadn't rained, if we hadn't been cycling that late. But it was one of the most magical experiences of our trip so far.
Yeah, that was, oh, sorry. That was amazing. I think another really memorable moment was we took a few weeks off of cycling when we were in Nepal to trek the Annapurna circuit, the hiking trail that goes around Mount Annapurna. And it got up to like over 5,400 meters, the big pass. It goes, you know, you lead up to one pass over the course of like a couple weeks, taking it slowly. But the higher up you go, the less and less oxygen there is, and it becomes more and more remote, and until it's just a couple villages, you know, and basically nothing. Just beautiful, beautiful Himalayan mountains. And so I just remember the morning that we did the pass, the final like pass to get up there. We woke up at like 3 a.m. and started hiking while it was still dark outside. And we finally reached it, and it was just incredible to like be so high up in such a beautiful place. And we were with some awesome friends, so that was another really memorable moment.
What advice would you give to first-time traveler coming to Laos?
Laos.
Come with cash. One of the reasons we ended up in Vientiane Sai is because it is the closest ATM to the border with Vietnam. And the closest ATM on the other side is like another 50 kilometers away. So don't do what we did. Show up with enough cash for your first few days here, and you can usually exchange it near the border fairly easily.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of ATMs, it seems like. So, you know, it's still a developing country, so it's a good idea to have more cash. We kind of messed up. Also, like we said before, this is just like, we've only been here for a couple days, so our advice is pretty limited right now.
But you should definitely come here.
Definitely.
Have you faced any challenges during a trip?
I think we have.
You can start.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on a bicycle tour, every day is kind of a challenge, right? It's just a different amount. You know, it's not like normal travel just on buses and stuff. You have to get yourself from one place to another. So, you know, in different countries, the challenges are different. You know, in Southeast Asia, here the biggest challenge I think is dealing with the heat and the crazy, crazy steep climbs. You know, even though you don't go so high up into the mountains or anything like you do in other countries, they're really, really steep, and we have to walk our bike a lot. And when it's like, you know, 40 degrees Celsius outside, that's no fun. That's no fun.
It affects morale. Another, and that's one dimension of challenge. I think one of our most challenging days on the trip was when we were in Tajikistan on the Pamir Highway. And the passes on the Pamir Highway are not paved usually. The road condition can be pretty bad. So we spent all morning struggling up this pass. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was we got to the top and it started snowing and sleeting. And the way down was just awful road condition, like total washboard. And the snow was flying right into our eyes, so we couldn't see. And it was so cold. I had to clutch my brakes really tight because of the washboard. But then because of the cold, my fingers were aching. So I literally at one point stopped and pulled off my glove, and my fingertips were blue. And I had to like stick them under my armpits to warm them up enough to keep cycling. And that part of Tajikistan is also super remote. So it's not like you can just like make it to the next town in 20 minutes and warm up in a coffee shop. Like there wasn't anything for another 50, 60 kilometers maybe. So, and when I say nothing, I mean there's actually nothing. There's not even homes, no structures, no stores. So the only option is you have to cycle through it. And that was really tough. I remember I ended that day and I didn't even make it inside to my hotel room. I just laid down in the parking lot for 15 minutes to like gather myself before standing up and like going inside to warm up more.
Have you been to caves?
Yeah, we just went to the caves this morning. Yeah, that was crazy, especially because a couple days ago we didn't even know about it. You know, I've heard of people hiding in caves during the war. but I had no idea how extensive it was. And just like really crazy to think that that was our country that did that. You know, it's kind of hard to believe when we learned about how many tons of bombs, like millions of tons of bombs, were dropped on this country that I think most Americans couldn't even point to
Right.
on a map, don't really know anything about. So yeah, it's just that was really crazy.
Yeah, it was really powerful. You know, our guide did say, he said, you know, you're a new generation, we're a new generation. But they say, you know, those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. I think it's really important for, especially for Americans, to learn this kind of history and learn other things our country has done so that we can be sure to structure things differently in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, I also think it was really inspiring just to learn about like the extents that they went through in order to survive and in order to fight for liberation and maintain their independence. And now Laos is a beautiful independent country, but it wasn't always necessarily going to be going that direction. And so many people sacrificed for that. And I think that was just very inspiring to see.
What is your favorite food you have tried during your trip?
Ooh. What do you think?
Maybe the dosa in Kerala.
Kerala.
That was up there. That was really good.
Yeah, I really like any sort of like chicken butter masala or paneer butter masala. Really like, oh my gosh, I could do that all day.
Have you ever been to India?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah, during the winter,
Yeah.
you know, we were in Georgia during the winter after cycling there from Portugal, and it was way too cold to continue. It was like snowing every day. It was crazy. So we flew to India for the winter, and we rode our bicycles from Mumbai to close to Kanyakumari in the southwest, and then we took a train up north to Rishikesh and then cycled into Laos. So we've literally been everywhere on the west coast of India, and we loved it. It was really, really, really challenging and also really, really rewarding. Like it was the most of any country we've been to. We had the most challenge every day dealing with the cars and the traffic and the honking and the heat.
Yeah.
And then on the plus side, meeting like the most amazing people, learning about all the cultures and the religions and spirituality, and eating like the most delicious food on the planet. Like I really felt like every single meal we had in India,
Yeah.
like felt like a 5-star restaurant. Like it was so good. I just couldn't believe that it's a whole country of people who eat like the most delicious food every single day. So yeah.
And we were stayed really by the coast, so we rode through all these. It was really lucky whenever we could get off the highway because we could really be riding through these like small coconut plantations and right along the beach, and these beaches were quiet and beautiful. And we'd stop for like is it Amul or Amal, the ice cream that they have there?
Amal, yeah.
Yeah. And like sit on the beach and watch the water. And it was just a really interesting, fascinating, beautiful country. We also rode through a few festivals.
Yes.
You know, there were some drummers that we saw, and we also at one point on the road we were cycling, this parade was coming at us in the other direction, and they had like giant, like I don't even know, they're kind of masks, kind of like structures that people were just like holding on their backs, and tons of drummers and dancers. So that was really incredible that we were lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time to get to see things like that.
Yeah, India feels like it's not just a country, it's like a whole civilization, right? And there's so many cultures within India,
Right.
each with their own different religious practices or identities and languages. So it was amazing to see all of that.
Out of all the countries you have visited, which one is your favorite and why?
We have a few favorites. As we were saying, India is definitely up there. So is Nepal, because we just loved both the lowlands and the Himalayas. We went through Bardia National Park, which was incredible. Unfortunately, didn't get to see any tigers this trip, but it just means we will have to go back there at some point in the future. And then trekking in the Himalayas was just an unreal otherworldly experience for us. We loved getting to, meet the people and see the Buddhist temples and the Hindu temples, and we even saw a Bon village. Bon is the indigenous religion of Tibet that we saw in the Lower Mustang region, and they had a temple that they said had been there for 700 years. So seeing that whole like rich history and beautiful mountains, it was incredible. We have some other favorites though, also.
Yeah. Also, Kyrgyzstan really stands out for us. Oh my God, we loved Kyrgyzstan. Like, it's so remote. It can be 100 kilometers between towns, but in between, you get so high up into the mountains where you can just see for miles and miles and miles, or kilometers and kilometers and kilometers for those non-Americans. And the people there during the summer, they live in yurts. And so we would constantly be invited to have tea or drinks or food with kumas, the fermented horse milk, with the locals. And I really think that they were the nicest, most generous people on the whole planet. Like, I've been to 41 countries, and Kyrgyzstan really stands out for the generosity of the people. Like, there were multiple days where we didn't have to pay for anything because people would just give us food. Like, they would just see us and give us so much food and offer to have us sleep in their yurts, and just to be around the yaks and the mountains and the fresh air was incredible. So Kyrgyzstan is also amazing.
Yeah. Where are you headed after Vientiane?
Towards Luang Prabang.
Yeah.
We're still debating our route to get there, and after that, we're heading into Thailand. So we'll be in Southeast Asia for another few months.
Lastly, do you have a message for the viewer watching this podcast?
Ooh, a message.
Yeah.
I would say if you've never traveled by bicycle, you should give it a try, because you get to experience what we say a lot is that the reason to travel by bicycle as opposed to by car, by bus, by plane, whatever, is that you don't just see the destinations, you don't just see the places where all the tourists go, you see everything in between. You see the little villages that nobody's ever heard of before, but that might have some really unique restaurant or practice or waterfall or something like that to see. And like, I think that it's seeing like what goes on in the rural areas that really gives you a feel for the country. So that would be my suggestion.
And you?
I would also say I feel like there's often a misconception that like you need a trust fund to travel, or you can only travel if you're very rich. And we do not have trust funds, and
Unfortunately.
and are not very rich. And that if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable sometimes, a little bit of money can go a long way. So we've had nights where we sleep like outside abandoned carnival rides, and we've gotten used to cold showers and pit toilets and all those things. But the advantage of that means that now we can travel for a very long time on a very limited budget. So my advice is that travel is more accessible than you think it is, and that the hardest thing to do is get started. And once you get started, you'll just get hooked.
And inspiring stories with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much.
And another piece of advice, come to this restaurant. It's amazing. The best Indian food we've had outside of India. Really.
Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.